Here on Crick Buzz, it's been the tale of similarities and differences, obvious comparisons to draw from that first game between England's run chase and this time around. 300 plus total, big finish from India, bigger finish from India today, but a very different approach from England. Let's confirm where things stand right now. 87 without loss in 15 overs as compared to 135 for one, which was absolutely in top gear. The Ferrari had come out there, as Michael Vaughan said, but it ran out of gas. Joy, this time around, very consciously, they seem to have a different approach. 87, only 87, but with all wickets standing.
All wickets standing, and I think what they're looking at is a different thing. They're looking at required run rate. So they'll be looking at it and saying, as long as we keep it below 7, 7.5, 8, and towards the last 10 overs, it could be even 8 or 9, it would make a difference. So I think that's what they're looking at. It's a smart approach, and if you notice all the overs, Kuldeep came on, they gave him respect for the first couple of overs, then they went after him. Then, Bhuvi, first couple of overs, they looked at him, they had a really good look at his bowling, then they went after him. I think they're picking and choosing their spots as well to take calculated risks. And I think this serves England better as a chasing team.
Yeah, I can tell you what to add to that in terms of approach. First ball after the combox, they've also given Shardul Thakur the kind of respect that he had got in the previous game. First two balls after combox, bang, bang, 6-6.
Oh, God. Absolutely. I mean, look, I think this is a batting team that is so strong and so talented that they can do it. The question is simply that they don't need to do it in 40 overs or 35 overs. You don't get extra points for that. You get nothing for that. I think that's what they're telling themselves. They would have told themselves, look, if it's a 380, that's how we should bat if there's 380 on the board, not if there's 334 on the board. And right now, they're making this look easy. They're making this look comfortable. And I think what most important is I don't see them taking too many unnecessary risks at this stage. And that's important. The other thing, of course, I think we should raise is the fact that India has traditionally, over the last few matches, one-day matches, just not got wickets at the beginning.
Yeah, and when you say beginning, Joy, we've been classifying the first 10 overs, and we said even at the start that if you don't take those wickets in the first 10 overs, or you lose less than a certain number of wickets when you're batting, that's when the win-loss percentage changes. And for India, it's been no more losses than wins in ODI cricket recently, and one reason, they just have not taken wickets. Only once in Canberra, the only wicket that they've taken, in 80 overs, has been that of Manas Labuschagne by T. Natarajan, and that too to something I didn't remember. Our producer had to bring it up.
No, absolutely. And it, of course, and the reason we should berate ourselves is because it's so rare that it should be remembered that, we are just not getting wickets in the first 10. And this is an attack, we've had people like Bumrah out there. Bumrah hasn't got wickets. Bhuvi hasn't got wickets. These are our best bowlers. I mean, these are the guys you depend upon to take wickets up front. Because if we don't take wickets up front, then what our formula is to get our spinners to increase the run rate. And then after a while, towards the end, just, squeeze them till they start giving us wickets, And that is not going to work because right now, the English batsmen, or the kind of pitches that you're playing out now, the English batsmen, even the Australian batsmen, they're not giving the spinners the same respect. This is not the Kuldeep Chahal act. This is not the Kulcha act that we used to see before that, okay, no matter what happens at the beginning, these guys will come and just squeeze the middle order. It's not happening.
In fact, I'm glad you brought up Kulcha because the separation of Kulcha happened as a result of this pair. And this pair has now ended up getting 5 consecutive 50-plus stands against India, and they're doing it again today, and they're doing it again in a manner, as you said, Joy, that is more attuned towards the kind of run chase. Because as you said, the other day, the required rate was 5.4. Problem is they had 2 wickets in hand or 3 wickets in hand. Doesn't matter if it's 7.5, if you've got 9 wickets in hand.
Absolutely. And they bat deep enough. They don't need to take risks. I would say that it's one of the most formidable batting combinations that you see. And it's very interesting how towards the beginning, Jason Roy totally dominated strike. When Jason Roy had played about 35 balls and was nicely well set, I think Bairstow had played about 9 balls and had 4 of 9 balls. And then immediately, that changed. Bairstow started getting runs. Jason Roy took a bit of a backseat. They know each other's game. They play off each other very, very well. This, if it lasts for a while, is going to be one of the great, great combinations opening combinations in ODI cricket. I mean, we've seen Haynes and Greenwich. We've seen Saeed Anwar, Amit Sohail. This deserves to be there. Of course, Sachin Saurav and Sachin Sehwag, but this deserves to be there. And of course, Rohit and Shikhar haven't done badly for themselves either.
They certainly haven't, but these guys are turning it on. As you mentioned, very similar pattern in terms of that progression. Bairstow was again playing second fiddle to Jason Roy. Only difference was that Roy did get out at some point in the first 15 overs. This time around, they've stuck around for 15 plus overs, 102 after 16. And now those 2 sixes I mentioned to you were that of Johnny Bairstow. So what do India do from here to wrap up this combox?
I think they've just got to get. I would get Bhuvi back for a couple and said, "Get me a wicket now. We need a wicket now." When you're not going to break this stand in the first 5-10 overs, bring back your best bowler, because Bhuvi, even if he bowls 5 towards him, it's not of any use if the target is 7.5 and they have 9 wickets in hand. They need him now. He's our best bowler. He needs to make an impact right now.
I mean, I know you said Bhuvi, but I'm going to throw one more at you. I know I was saying last question, but what about the Pandyas? I mean, we don't know about Hardik because remember he didn't bowl the last time around, but certainly Krunal can have an effect. He's just that kind of a effervescent character.
No, they'll have to use Kunal because, 5 bowlers, the situation they're in at this point in time, they have to bring him in from one end or the other. And I think the only problem is, again, if they hit him off his length, then he'll be struggling a bit. And that's what they tried to do in the previous match, if you remember. And that's what, he tends to, his problem is, and they've watched him all. Remember, all these guys, they see a lot of the IPL cricket as well. They know that when Kunal's under pressure, he tries to dart it in. He tries to just aims at your legs and just tries to, as they say, tang pakadna. It's a very common term that you don't want the batsman to score. Just, fire in Yorkers at his toes. And if they don't get it right, he could go for a few.
Well, that seems to be the formula. We've tried to make this conversation last to bring that other desperate Crickbuzz Combox curse in, but that's not working either. So we leave it to the Indian bowlers because the period between 15 and 35 is going to determine the fate of this game. So by the time I join you with Michael Vaughan, things should be progressing in one direction or the other. We'll see you soon.